Jay here for Stretford Paddock, and this is a special live because there's been big news, of course. You know what I'm on about. You know exactly what I'm talking about, and I've got it here. The big news that has just come out this evening is that Alejandro Garnacho could be going to the World Cup. Yeah, there was a tweet from a journalist about 24 minutes ago saying that following the injury to Joaquin Correa, that Thiago Almeida, Gio Simeone, and Alejandro Garnacho could replace him in the Argentina squad for the World Cup. So I'll have more on that. And also, yeah, there's this small matter of the Cristiano Ronaldo interview. We're live, so get involved in the chat and the comments. We're getting all the reaction. I want to hear what you guys think about it because, I don't know, man. It's like, it's so weird to see this. And I'm going to give you my opinion, and then you can all jump in and get on with it. Like, the whole premise of the interview, for starters, puts me off. I don't like it. You're going to speak to Piers Morgan, who I can't stand. This interview is going to be released, or the first snippet of the interview is going to be released the evening of the Fulham game when Garnacho has just scored a last-minute winner. That's when the first bit of the interview is coming out, so that's going to sort of, take all the headlines off him. Then you have all these little bit of drip feeding different stories. The story about disrespecting Ten Hag and Ten Hag disrespecting you. Story about the Glazers, the facilities, certain things we might agree with. Other things as well, more deep things. The story about his loss of his son, which is terrible. But then the way it's sort of drips as well. It's teased by Piers Morgan as, new revelations or whatever. It's just very distasteful. Not by Ronaldo on that front, by the way it's been portrayed by Piers Morgan, but also this idea of sitting down with Piers Morgan and just slagging off your manager during the season when you're still a Manchester United player. When there's a break now, there's a World Cup, and all the attention should be on that. It just doesn't sit right with me at all. Now, I have watched both interviews. It's been split into two parts. I watched it last night. We were live last night, myself and Joe Smith. Wasn't really impressed with what I saw. I felt sorry for Ronaldo when he spoke about the loss of his son. Of course I did. I'm human, and I've always said that I felt Ronaldo did well or deserves credit for coming back so soon after that and playing for Manchester United so quickly following such a tragic loss. I agree with the sort of, not agree, but you can understand where he's looking at the facilities and stuff like that. You can say, okay, I understand that. But so much of this interview is about how Cristiano Ronaldo is blameless. Cristiano Ronaldo is just almost infallible. He's, and he keeps saying this thing. He kept saying it throughout the interview. I'm only human. I'm just a human being. Like that was his get out of jail free card. And it was like he wasn't willing to really have any sort of self-reflection or self-criticism. And obviously, with Piers Morgan, he's not going to give you any. He's just so grateful that Ronaldo's giving him this interview. He was just basically licking his ass for an hour and a half or however long it was. Do you know what I mean? And he's been doing that on social media for the last 2 years or however long it's been. And it really annoyed me. And it annoys me when I see Cristiano Ronaldo sitting there with Piers Morgan, second-guessing the manager, slagging off the manager, being goaded and encouraged to criticise the manager. A manager, I believe, is doing a very good job for Manchester United Football Club and has got practically everything right. Yes, we've had some mistakes, but practically everything, because obviously losing 4-0 at Brentford and getting everything right. But transfers, getting the best out of some of the players who'd fallen off a cliff. The likes of Marcus Rashford, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay were useless last season. And I like some of those players. Well, all of them I like, but some of them I really like. And they were terrible. And yet he's got a tune out of all of them. Some of them are playing as well as they've ever played. His signings have been fantastic. He's getting the best out of youngsters. He's handling players like Alejandro Garnacho perfectly. And then you've got this absolute, wrecking ball, to go all Miley Cyrus, crashing through everything, or try to, with this sort of interview, slagging off this and slagging off that. It's just unnecessary. It doesn't happen. It doesn't help, sorry. Happy in the super chat says, great to see you, Jay. The first thing I did is report the interview for misinformation, United above all, up the paddock. I'll get into some of the comments, and then we'll get into some of the main talking points from this interview, because there's loads to talk about, and I want to get into your reaction, what your thoughts. We'll pull up some tweets as well, and we'll go through what's been said. But I want to see what you guys are thinking. Witterbird says, why on earth was he wanting Arsenal to win the Premier League? Yeah, I saw that little bit. I don't know what that was about. United don't win it, Arsenal do. I think it's Piers Morgan always does this nonsense, doesn't he? Do you remember when did he take an Arsenal shirt to Donald Trump once? Did Donald Trump actually say he likes United because the Glazers own him? There's another reason not to like the Glazers or Donald Trump for that matter. UK Strain says Ronaldo didn't achieve anything from this interview. That's a good point, because he will have achieved something. He'll have got a load of money off Talk TV or whatever it's called. And Piers Morgan, he didn't do this out of the kindness of his heart. And don't believe any of that shite where he said, I'm doing this because I like you. He's doing it because Piers Morgan's probably giving a few million quid. And it'll be worth it for him because this has made a lot of money. It'll made a lot of revenue. It's put a lot of attention off a channel that, you know, who watches it really? No one. And now all of a sudden it's getting all this attention, all this publicity. It's a good advertisement for it in terms of, you know, people finding out about it. So I'm guessing he's been paid a big wedge. But yeah, I get what you mean. Sort of in the grander scheme of things, what did he get? Yash Gami says Ronaldo unfollowed Rooney too, probably. The Big Lebrowski says, I agree with 99% of what he said. Rob Marsden says, if he loves United like he said, then playing 3 minutes is a privilege, not a punishment. Yep. Glenn F says, good to see you, Jay. Erik ten Hag is the man. Ronaldo's just lost it and his ego can't handle that he's finished and needs to retire. Up the effing paddock. Thanks, Glenn, and apologies for the other day. I missed your super chat on the morning's news. I try not to do that, but I'm just a bit thick. Yeah, should we get into some of what was said then? And I will get back to the comments because there's loads of you commenting and you can understand. I can understand why. There's the first bit, right? He said here was this. Just move that over a little bit. Just a slight switch over for me, please, Ethan. No, the other one, the other way. That's it. Ronaldo says here about when he left the going down the tunnel against Spurs. He left early, didn't he? Now, I'm going to go a bit back and forth with this because there's all sorts of different things that he said and they might not be in chronological order, but I'm going to just pick certain bits and then we'll get to them. When he talks about leaving early in the Spurs game, it's something that I regret to leave from the stadium. Let's say I regret, but in the same way, I felt provoked by the coach. Not allowed for me, a coach, to put me in 3 minutes in a game. Sorry, I'm not that kind of player. So he said that he's not that kind of player to say to only play 3 minutes at the end of a game or whatever. But then he was also moaning that he didn't get any minutes against City and that he didn't come on late against City. And again, Piers Morgan's goading him and it was like very contradictory, this whole interview. Because on the one hand, you're saying, I don't want to just play a few minutes against Spurs and I'm not having it, so I left. And on the other hand, I think a few minutes before that, you're moaning about the fact that you didn't play against Manchester City. And he kept having these digs against Erik ten Hag. And that's the one thing in this interview that's really grated me. Listen, you can say anything about Glazers. I fucking hate the Glazers. If you sit in an interview with anyone and say, I hate the Glazers, they're terrible owners, and especially if you're United player, I'm all for that. Well done. But when you start having to go to the manager and some of what you're saying about the manager doesn't make sense, I found it really, really disappointing. I'm going to go into a couple of tweets of what they said here. Joe Tomlinson, who's been on the channel, this is what he had to say. Because obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo claimed that Erik ten Hag had disrespected him. And he says, Ronaldo's claims of disrespect from Ten Hag are just so bizarre. At times, you could argue that Ten Hag has been overly protective of Cristiano at times in the press. I can't remember a time he didn't say that he's an important member of the squad other than after Spurs. Joe Tomlinson there makes a great point because there was this thing that came up as well about the Rayo Vallecano game. And now Ronaldo left early. And he said, I think he said eight other players left early, but everyone just talks about me. But if you remember that, after that game, Erik ten Hag went to great lengths to highlight the fact it wasn't just Ronaldo that left early. It was other players as well. And he was asked about it constantly. And he said Ronaldo wasn't the only one. You know, there were other players that left as well. So he sort of circled the wagons around Cristiano Ronaldo and was quite protective. And I felt he had his back there. And let's face facts, right? Cristiano Ronaldo had no pre-season. That was his first game back. He played 45 minutes. Yeah, which makes sense because you've had no preseason so far, and then he gets off. And also, you can't have it both ways. You can't keep saying, I'm Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm the greatest player of all time. I'm one of the best players of all time. I am the GOAT. Which is pretty much what he said. You know, I'm a superstar. I'm a world superstar. I could go to any club. I'm the one that achieved more than anyone else in the game. And then act surprised when you leave early from a game and go, well, I can't believe they talk about me and no one else. Oh, really? Did you honestly think that the attention was going to be on Diogo Dalot leaving early and not you? Come on. And you were in the squad. I think some of those players weren't even in the squad. So this whole thing of I get treated differently, but I'm the greatest, it doesn't marry up. Simon Stone also has been tweeting about it. Simon Stone is another one, I think. I don't think Simon Stone has been on this channel. He's been on Steve's channel. Wants to take a look at himself there about all that. We've got a tweet from Simon Stone. So he says, Cristiano tells Piers Morgan he felt Erik ten Hag was trying to provoke him by putting him on so late against Tottenham. Ronaldo says he regrets leaving the stadium after refusing to go on the field, but says it was humiliating to be suspended for 3 days. Said it was too much. Yeah, he mentioned his son there as well. Then he said he got home with something. His son was like, Dad, why not work? Yeah, sort of thing my son says when I get home early, to be fair. Why not work? None of your business, go to bed. But yeah, he was saying, oh, you know, this whole sort of drama. And he painted himself as the victim. My son was asking about it. Come on, man. You left the game, you left the ground early. You know you shouldn't. You shouldn't have done that. And you got punished by being suspended for one game. And then brought back into the team and then handed the captain's armband. So this whole thing about Erik ten Hag doesn't respect you, hasn't respected you, it doesn't make any sense when you look at the evidence, when you look at what's gone on. And I think Erik ten Hag, personally, has done his best with this situation. And I think it's been pretty untenable at times. And the short and long of it is this. Ask yourself this question. And I know it's difficult because he's a very emotive player, Cristiano Ronaldo. He's given me some of the best moments in my life as a United fan. I've been supporting United since the early 80s, since my dad took me when I was 5, 1985, I think, yeah? Well, no, it was 1985. No, how old I am. Bloody hell. And I can honestly say Cristiano, in all that time, has given me some of the best moments I've ever seen as a Red. Seriously. So we have this emotional attachment to him. We love him. Well, we used to. We love what he's given us. So it's difficult to just separate it, that feeling, with the facts and what we're seeing. But be honest with yourself and just ask yourself, is Cristiano Ronaldo, or are Manchester United even, better with Ronaldo in the team or without him in the team? Be honest about it. Forget all of the things that he's done in the past and look at him now this season. Yeah? I think the ratio of, we had a graph, well, it wasn't ours, I think I nicked it or saw it off someone. I didn't nick it, I don't nick anything, not anymore. There was something that went up on, I think it was ESPN, Man United's win percentage with and without Ronaldo this season. 25% with Ronaldo, 70% without Ronaldo. Now, you might look at that and you might go, yes, but who have we played with Ronaldo and who have we played without him? Well, think of the games that we've played with Ronaldo. Brentford, I think he played in that one, didn't he? Didn't he start in that game? Who have we played without him? We've played Liverpool, we've played Arsenal. We've played some big games without Ronaldo. Yeah, Spurs. So it's not like we've just had easy games without Ronaldo and the tough ones with him. We've had some easy games with Ronaldo that we failed to win, and we've had some tough ones without him, which we've won. And the short and long of it is, the facts speak for themselves. We are winning more games without him. And also, just put your stats to one side, put your emotions to one side, and just be honest with yourself what you've watched. When do we play better football? When do we look more like scoring? When does it look more fluid up front? When Ronaldo isn't there. So yeah, I think he just needed a bit of self-reflection on this interview. He didn't need two things. One, he needed not to do the bloody interview. And two, if he did it, he needs to have a bit of self-reflection. I'll get into the comments and the chat and then we'll carry on because there's loads of people in the chat and I don't want it to get carried away, to get away from me, sorry. Danny Shields says, wealthy Muppet Ronaldo is a Jordan Peterson fan. I'm shocked. This is my shocked face. Do you know what? Jordan Peterson, right? I've heard so much about this guy. Producer Ethan is a huge fan. Which surprises me because he's got a girlfriend as well, Ethan. So I didn't think people that had a girlfriend went to see Jordan Peterson, but I stand corrected. So listen, I'm a 42-year-old man who doesn't know about all these things, right? I just hear that Jordan Peterson is like the incels fanboy, whatever that means. That's what I get told anyway. Was he any good, Ethan, Jordan Peterson?
Cracking, yeah.
Cracking? Right, okay. Ethan said he was cracking, whatever that means. Little Zeb says, it's given you a great one-liner for Manscaped. If you're planning on gargling balls like Morgan did with Ronaldo, well, you need Manscaped. There you go. Manscaped's got a free ad read there. Ray Carl Browner Amory says, the fact Ronaldo's talking to an Arsenal supporter journalist who's just laughing at United and United fans. Yep. Bidan Dutter says, I think Ronaldo needs counselling and help in general about acceptance of ending his playing career, time to leave and move on. Can I just say, right, I don't think that's a bad idea. And I'm not being flippant or taking the mick here. I think Ronaldo might need counselling. I think it was Ian Wright who said it last night. He might need some sort of help. And there's nothing wrong with getting counselling and seeing a psychologist or whatever. I've done it myself. I'm not trying to be, sort of disparaging about that. But you're going from being one of the great players of all time and one of the best players on the planet. Even last season, he had numbers that sort of, could have made that argument, to being someone who cannot get in a team that's placed 5th in the Premier League, even when that team has got attackers that are injured. I mean, that's a bit bad fall from grace, and you're now reduced to giving these interviews. I think you might need counselling, honestly, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Nick Albany says, even if, and he's capitalised if, so even if Ten Hag made a mistake by putting him on for 3 minutes. Is it really that, again in capitals, big of a deal? Speak after the game and clear the air. Unreal ego, again in capitals. Abhinav Verma, big fan of Abhinav Verma. He's always in the chat. Member of the Academy for 20 months, says, did CR7... people don't tend to use that as much of him now. We've fallen out with him. Think that we haven't watched his games against Ammonia. Erik ten Hag backed him even after leaving early. Delusional. He hasn't looked like scoring. There's loads of in the chat. I'm going to get to in a minute. Peter has been a member of the Academy for 3 months. Can't wait till he's gone, to be honest. Better team without him. All stats support this. And all his fanboys will go with him. Win-win. There's a lot of Ronaldo fanboys in there. A lot of people who just don't like you saying anything about Ronaldo, even slightly negative. I made a joke the other day and people were having a go at me. Ronaldo said Ten Hag lies in the press conference when he says he respects Ronaldo and is different to him behind the scenes. Does that have any merit? I don't know, to be honest with you. Lewis Holland, I think it was a super chat. There's nothing there. Thanks for your chat, Lewis. Also, there's another one here. It's a Duck says CR7. So some people are still using CR7 then. Contradicted himself so much throughout both interviews. If you can't tell the truth about stuff that is public, then it doesn't believe you when it comes to situations we are in the dark about. There was one thing he said which didn't make any sense to me. Get involved in the chat and clear this up, because I'm a bit of a Luddite and I was trying to do some tweets and watch and I can't, chew gum and walk at the same time. I struggled to multitask. But I was trying to sort of listen and write and go on Twitter and stuff. He said something about the club not believing him when he said his son was ill. I think his child was ill. Why he missed pre-season. And then he sort of said, Piers Morgan again was trying to provoke him. So they didn't believe you. And he was like, well, they did believe me. I don't know. I don't think they did believe me. It was like he said they did and they didn't. I couldn't work out what he meant by that. Does anyone you clarify that for me? Because I was a bit confused. It seemed to be a bit contradictory. We did a poll on Twitter. Can we get the poll up, Eve? Because this whole interview, the one last night, the one today, the other one that's gone on, it looks like the end game for Cristiano Ronaldo at Manchester United. So we ask you, you can see it on the screen. After hearing Ronaldo's comments on Ten Hag, who do you feel is to blame for the breakdown in their relationship? So we asked the question there. I think I tweeted that, about 40 minutes ago. Ronaldo, 73.2%. Ten Hag, 8.7%. Both of them, 18.1%. Now, you see, normally, I'd be like, well, there's two sides to every story. And, I love a cliche. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But from what I've seen, I don't think Erik ten Hag's done anything wrong. I really don't. I think Erik ten Hag's been given this really difficult task. If you have inherited, right, at Manchester United, can we just stop a minute and we'll get into all the comments and we'll get back to the Ronaldo interview. But let's just be honest. Erik ten Hag inherited a mess, yeah? It's the worst mess any manager has ever inherited at Manchester United since probably, I don't know, Tommy Docherty or something. I don't know, right? You might go, David Moyes. No, he didn't. David Moyes took over from the Premier League champions. Louis van Gaal took over a team that a year ago had won the Premier League. Would won the Premier League. You know what I mean? So Jose Mourinho took over a team that 2 days earlier had won the FA Cup final, right? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took over a team that had finished second the year before. I can go on. There's more, isn't there? I'm sure there's more. Not Erik ten Hag, sorry. Ralph Rangnick took over a team that the year before had finished second as well. Erik ten Hag comes in, he takes over a team that's finished 6th, that's completely lost the plot because we'd lost 6 away games on the spin. You'd had all your best players just completely underperforming. Someone like Marcus Rashford had 4 Premier League goals. Andy Martial had 1, went to Sevilla, got none in La Liga. You had a Cristiano Ronaldo who's going from being a 36-year-old to 37, and as those years get, closer to 40, your powers are on decline. You had a defence that was all over the gaff. It was just a shambles, conceding goals all the time, getting battered off everyone, not just the likes of City and Liverpool, but the likes of Brighton as well. And he inherited all that, and he had to fix it. And also, let's not forget as well, with all that going on, you're also losing Edinson Cavani, Juan Mata, Nemanja Matic, Jesse Lingard, Paul Pogba. Now, you might think none of them are any good, but you're losing a lot of players who, if they're fit, feature in your squad. So you're losing them all, and also you're not getting any money for him if you want to put that towards transfers. Forget it. And you inherit all that, and he's come in. He's made great signings. Lisandro Martinez is an absolute demon. He's such a demon. We've got some merch based on Lisandro Martinez as well, which I'll get to in a minute. You're bringing in Christian Eriksen. You're bringing in Anthony, Tyrone Malacia, an absolute bagging, Casemiro. All these players have come in and done a great job. And 4 of them are first teamers now. Yeah? They're in the first team, and they've all gelled really quickly and done really well. You're getting a massive tune out of players who were terrible last season. The likes of Marcus, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, all performing much better. All right, Harry Maguire, okay, still better than he was. But Scott McTominay playing much better as well. Andy Martial looks like a reinvented player, reborn player, and many of us, myself included, thought he was done. So you're getting a tune out of all these players. Your new signings are working really well. Then you've got the youngsters as well. You're bringing in the youngsters as well. Alejandro Garnacho, he's had a bit of a difficult time, probably, had to be disciplined a little bit. He's now looking like someone who could probably start for United, to be honest with you. I think Jadon Sancho's looking over his shoulder. So he's getting everything right. And he's also got to deal with his Cristiano Ronaldo situation. So he's inherited a mess. He's turned it around, and Cristiano Ronaldo is just causing more problems. And that hurts Manchester United. It really does. Let's not get it twisted here. This interview and the way Ronaldo's been doesn't help Manchester United. Other than the bit he said about the Glazers, it hurts us. Just on the merch front, we've got some merch here. I think we've got a graphic for it and all that. Go and check out paddockmerch.com. We've got Alejandro Garnacho. You've probably seen this doing the rounds, this design. Alejandro Garnacho one. We've got some merch bringing it out as well. Damien Quinn, who's the designer there. Go and check that out. paddockmerch.com. Also, as well, have you got a link for this Dublin thing, Eve? Yeah. It's in the description. There's a link in the description. Can we put one in the chat as well, brother? We're going to be doing a night in Dublin, a live event. Myself, Adam McCullough, Stephen Howson, Joe Smith, and Brian McClare. And trust me, Brian McClare will have something to say about all this. 30th of December in Dublin. I don't know why I was looking up behind the camera then to see what he was saying. I know what he's saying. So come and check us out. First ever live event at Stretford Paddock. A bit nervous, but excited. Love going to Dublin. Love Brian McClare. Chocky's a fantastic person to chat to, and he'll tell you all about the battle against Arsenal, all the stuff with Fergie, loads of stuff, and he'll give you his opinion on all this as well. Audis in Ireland says he's done all this so United don't use their option for a third year. See you next Tuesday is what he is. Darren Cox says Ralph Ragnick did the football audit on United. Now Ten Hag is solving the problems that have been there for a few seasons. Fair play. Danny Shields says, in fairness, Ethan's girlfriend goes to another school and you wouldn't know her. Do you know what? It's really weird that you say that, because that's what he tells us. He says she lives miles away and you won't ever meet her. And then he takes these little trips away to go and see his girlfriend. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit weird, that. And when he does tweets and stuff, he says his girlfriend lives down south and his Twitter location, Salford. Bit strange. Yes. Hit that like button. Over 2,300 watching. Only 170 likes. Let's get to 1,000 likes. Come on, people. Basil says, people need to go Glazers out hard and not let this distract us. Maybe it will make them drop him. John O'Sullivan, I've upset Jordan Peterson fans here, says, you should really listen to Jordan Peterson before you judge him. I have listened to some of his stuff. And when he says like racism, things like that, I'm not a fan. I've listened to other stuff. It seems all right. I'm not a fan, I'll be honest, but I don't know a lot about him. And I know I should listen to him, but I can't be bothered. Yeah, sorry. It's been derailed by Jordan Peterson now. We shouldn't have bloody mentioned it. Yeah, right. What else have we got? What else did he say? He talks about maybe that, he'll retire if Portugal win the World Cup, which I don't think is going to happen. It's just interesting, this, isn't it? Because he talks about retiring in the World Cup. He also spoke about retiring if he got to 40. He also talks about his future at Manchester United. And all this, to me, it seems like he knows, regardless of whether he's going to retire at the end of the World Cup. I don't think he will. I think he'll get offered a load of money to go somewhere. Whether he believes or he knows that he's done at United. Because there was one bit he said here. He said about moving on from United. He said, maybe it's good for Manchester, and it's probably good for me too, to have a new chapter in his career. I think that's pretty much nailed on, isn't it? Let me know in the chat. Do you see any way forward for Cristiano Ronaldo and Manchester United? Do you think he can stay at United now? Do you honestly think that there could be a scenario where Cristiano Ronaldo puts on a United shirt and plays for us in January? Or even in, when's the Burnley game? 2 days after the World Cup final, innit? Can you see him playing in the Carabao? I'll get into some of the comments here. Francisco Scaramanga, no. Mick Doyle, nope. Dave, no. Chris Turner, no way. Nick Albany, no. James Maskell, not a chance. Hurdy Town, not a chance. Darren Cox, he's gone. Wardy Potter, no. Stephen Duffin says, I want him out in the next 24 hours. It's quite interesting, this, because the club I think the statement from the club was they were going to wait and watch the full interview before they made a decision. Now, a few people have contacted me. Someone contacted me on LinkedIn before, who I think knows about these things. Said there might be grounds. There might be. I know I'm saying there is. Might be grounds for breach of contracts in all this. If he said certain things about his manager that have crossed the line, there might be a case for gross misconduct or whatever. And maybe the club are looking at it, going through the transcripts of the interview and saying, or watching it and going, is there something here where we can go, it's time for you to go? But just as a little sort of counterpoint to that, there was talk of them wanting the departure to be amicable. So I don't know how those two things sort of compute. It may well be that you can't have one and the other. If he does, terminate his contract, he ain't going to go nicely and he ain't going to be amicable. And if you want him to go amicably, then you're going to have to, I don't know. I don't even know how that works. Maybe pay him off. Maybe that's the answer. You pay off his contract and let him leave. So he still gets all his money. And he does a nice departure video for you. A la Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The only difference was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't do an interview with Piers Morgan just before he left, slagging off everyone, including half his teammates and the manager. It's just weird. And when I say slagging off his teammates, I think he said something last night, which wasn't really slagging him off, but it was a bit of a surreptitious dig, wasn't it, when he sort of said, young players that listen to you or that do it the right way, he named about one, Delo. So it wasn't great. Anthony Komodikis says, I knew that's what's going on. Erik ten Hag is different to Cristiano Ronaldo behind closed doors than his conferences. There are obviously more things we don't know. Is there, though? Is there obviously more things we don't know? I don't know there is. There's could be quite a good chance that there's not anything more going on. And it's just Ronaldo's just adding up. To me, this feels like a player who can't accept that he's no longer the player he was. That's how it feels. You might disagree. Get involved in the chat. I want to hear from you guys. Danny Shields says, don't be nervous about Dublin show. The Paddock Island supporters group is buzzing for it. 2 tickets bought here and bringing a new convert. Thanks, Danny. I appreciate that, brother. It's a Duck says, fell out with Madrid and their fans. Fell out with Juve and their fans. Fell out with United and us fans. Seeing a pattern here. Auditon Island says, Glazers are soulless. He's too big an asset on the club value. Rebecca Jade O'Sullivan in the question, is he going to stay or is he our future at United? Nope. Haruga 007, he's a clown. Dub CR7 is in denial. Okay. By, pretty much vast majority, a landslide. People think he's done at United. Does this taint your opinion of him? Does it hurt his legacy? Me, Webby and Joe did a debate the other day where we spoke about, does this hurt his legacy? Love Webby. Go and check out the Webby and O'Neill podcast, by the way. And I said, I don't think it will eventually. I think what will happen is there'll be an initial response where people are angry and like, I hate Ronaldo or don't want to forget him. And then in a year or two, people will reflect and go, you know what? He won a Ballon d'Or at the club. He won 3 Premier Leagues. He won a Champions League. He scored so many goals. He scored 42 goals in a season and all the rest of it. He's one of the greatest players we've ever seen. We still love him. He's still a legend or whatever. I think people will get over it. Am I wrong? Or is this it? Are you going to look at him now and go, nah, I'm done with him forever? One-eyed United guy. If I see Ronaldo playing in the United shirt again, I swear I'll cheer for Liverpool for the rest of the season. Oh my God, I think I just threw up in my mouth. That was one of those. What are you reading that for? Don't read that. Don't read that. It's a super chat. You got to read it out. If you know, you know. Go and have a bath, you. After that nonsense you just spouted, I'll cheer for Liverpool. I don't want to hear that sort of comment will not be tolerated on this channel. Do you hear me? I understand why you're angry though. Rai says, I think he's pushing for a low move, so his wages are subsidized even by United, and he can play for a team in the Champions League like Sporto. CM says, Stretford End will never sing about him again. Do you know what was funny? After there's something going on in the summer, and a lot of fans were angry with him. There's some fans near me, I think it was for the Brighton game, who were booing him when he came out. There was like a pocket of him, like, I don't know, 50 or whatever. Boo! And he looked at him, and he waved, because I think he thought they were doing two. So that's the advantage of that, innit? You know what I mean? If you've got a chant like that, then I know it's not a chant, but a noise. But you can just think people are saying boo earns or whatever. Terry Beastie says, Ronaldo is dumb for me. Lizzie C says, tainted for me. Yeah, I think a lot of people have had enough. Dan, someone said he could go to Sporting on a loan, and Dan C says Sporting are out of the Champions League, so that's not an option for him. He is finished, says Bazza 2002. Yeah, Chris Turner says, remember when Van Nistelrooy thought everyone booed him? I thought, did he not get booed? Am I imagining that? Listen, I'm going to wrap it up there. Do you know what? I've loved that. I've loved all the comments, and we've had a really good chat. But can I be honest with you? I'm done with it all, man. I am. Not chatting to you guys. I'm done with the whole Ronaldo thing. We've had this all week, haven't we? You know, and you might say, well, why have you spoken about it all week? Because it's big news. It is. And everyone wants to hear about it. Everyone wants to talk about it. But I think I'm just getting fatigued with it. There's a World Cup on the horizon. We've got some fantastic young players coming through. We're on a good bit of form. Looks like Erik ten Hag knows what he's doing. And this is just a circus. It's a sideshow we don't need. Joseph Kidney says, gutted you lads are in Ireland as I head to Manchester with my young fella for his first game. Oh, mate. Gutted about that. Good we won't be here to see you, bro. We'll put another link in the chat for the Dublin event as well. There's a Dublin event on the 30th of December. Get down to Dublin if you can, or get over to Dublin if you can. Myself, Joe Smith, Stephen Howson, Adam McCullough, and Brian McClare. Hey, we're going to be having a good old chat, a live event. Listen, I get it, right? It's a bit infuriating, a bit deflating, and it's a bit weird, isn't it? It's just a bit weird seeing one of the, your best ever players doing all this stuff, and you don't. Some people might be like, I don't even know what to think at the minute. It's just confusing or whatever. I get all that. I just think that hopefully the club can make the right decision. And for me, the right decision should be backing a manager. Whatever the manager says, whatever he wants to do, that's what Manchester United Football Club should be doing. Because I believe for the first time in a little while, we've got a manager who's up and coming, who knows what he's doing, and he's getting a tune out of the players, and he's bringing in the right signings. So we should back him. I'm going to leave it there. Go and check out paddockmerch.com. We've got some Christmas merch because Christmas is around the corner. And if you want Christmas merch, you need to get your orders in now because, parcels and deliveries take about 5 weeks nowadays, don't they? So make sure you check out paddockmerch.com. We've got the Garnacho stuff. We've got a great Boxing Day thing as well with Sandro Manes and Andy Marshall. Go and check that out. I think it'll be Joe in the morning with the news at 10:30. He'll be giving his reaction to this story as well. So make sure you join us tomorrow. If you're not doing, hit subscribe. We want to get to 700,000 subscribers, and with your support, we can do it. Listen, we've had this channel now, Stretford Paddock, for 2 years, just over 2 years, and the support we've had has been phenomenal. It really has, and don't think we ain't grateful about it. We talk about it all the time because we didn't know if we were going to be able to do it when we took over. We didn't know if it would be a success, whether it would be able to work, and it has done, and that's because of the amount of support and, the love you guys have shown us. It's much appreciated. One-eyed United guy says AG7 is what we need. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Yes, Garnacho 7. This has been Paddock Live with a Cristiano Ronaldo interview reaction. I've been Jay Motty. Thanks for watching.